Underachievers in the last edition of the T20 World Cup took everyone by surprise by underwhelming to the extent that they didn't even reach the business end of the tournament, lost in fact to Netherlands and gave a passage to the other teams to qualify at a point where they really should have seen them out and be looking at the business end of the tournament. We're here to talk about South Africa. Yes,
You're too polite. Underwhelming, underachieving. No. The C word is associated with South Africa.
The C word comes into the picture when you reach a certain stage in the tournament.
What all stages? You lose by rain rule, you misinterpret DL, you allow the team, the other teams to do the pehle aap thing. How much more stages of choking would you need?
A disastrous run out also.
A disastrous run out, not knowing the net run rate situation. So, South Africa, he may be saying underwhelming, underachieving, but an absolutely frustrating enigma of a team with so much of talent, with so much of potential, yet in the 21st century they have won nothing. And when they head into the T20 World Cup, the same question remains. Is cricket complete without the South Africa choke? No, it isn't. They add more value and flavor to it. But yeah, looking at this squad, which has perplexed both me and Harshit. Harshit, what is the reason that has perplexed you the most? You have been telling it to me for hours and hours on end.
The one big question, Siddharth, that comes to my mind before we talk into, let's say, the playing 11 and all of that and do a complete SWOT analysis, why does the team have 3 left-arm spinners? I really cannot get my head around that. They've got a Keshav Maharaj, who I understand will be in the 11. What is the Bjorn Fortuin doing in the side after underwhelming in the SA20? And there's a Tabraiz Shamsi as well, who's in and out of the side. What is this this collation that they've done here, the South African Cricket Board? 3 left-arm spinners.
I mean, if you look at it, yeah, 2 left-arm orthodox in Keshav Maharaj and Bjorn Fortuin. Fortuin played for the Pal Royals
And didn't do much.
6 wickets in 11 games. Keshav Maharaj, a proven match winner, he had to be there. Tabraiz, I think he's got the ICC quota. Whenever there is an ICC event, he will go for that. But apart from that, you've got a Markram who can bowl a bit of off spin and leg spin.
Tristan Stubbs can bowl as well. You've seen that happen in the IPL.
Why are you criticizing South Africa? India took 4 spinners. And we don't have any questions about that. It's a liable.
We've cast questions there as well. Or maybe this is going to be interesting. In fact, all the fun and jokes aside, maybe there is something over there in the pitches in the West Indies, and maybe teams have taken a cue from not just the recently held series but also the CPL as well, where you did see scores of about 150, 170 also end up being winning totals. That we'll have to wait and see whether this ends up being a shot in the foot or a master stroke. But
because I'll tell you, start attack folks, and for you, spin in 22 matches since 2022, T20 as in the West Indies, economy rate of 7. Pacers 9, and spinners have taken more wickets.
All right.
So that is why, if you look at it, South Africa spin bowling, but combined with their rather inexperienced batting, is my ultimate weakness.
Okay, but the one thing that South Africa have done, which let's say the Indian Cricket Board hasn't done, or let's say even an Australian Cricket Board hasn't done, is give a chance to local talent that was spotted in the local T20 league, the Premier T20 league in South Africa, now the SA20. 2 of the bright stars that you saw in that tournament, they've given a chance over there. We didn't see India do any of that. They've gone in with that conservative, experienced approach. And why I say that, Otniel Bartman is there. He was one of those who really impressed in the SA20, as did Ryan Rickelton. Ryan Rickelton, in fact, with 530 runs, was your highest run scorer.
He overshadowed a Klaasen.
And a Stubbs.
Ryan Rickelton for MI Cape Town, Otniel Bartman for Sunrisers Eastern Cape. And you got 2 players for Sunrisers Eastern Cape, Otniel Bartman and Marco Jansen. Both were the top wicket takers. So, South Africa will reward their SA20 players, and that's why you see Rickelton. Fun fact, he hasn't even played a T20I. And he's going to make his debut in the T20 World Cup potentially if he's picked. So, it's a very, very perplexing team that South Africa have picked, and that's why figuring out the strengths, weakness and threats is a challenge.
It
But
is
I've
a
taken
challenge
the
because you look at this bowling unit. You take into consideration the fact that there'll be a Kagiso Ragada definitely leading the pace bowling attack. You've also got an underwhelming Andrik Nokia who's been completely off color to the extent that he got dropped from his IPL franchise.
Delhi Capitals will know.
As well, exactly. So apart from that, to share the hard new ball probably would be a Marco Jansen as well as a pace bowling option.
Who has also underwhelmed for Sunrisers Hyderabad in IPL.
Yes.
So that is why your pace bowling lineup is a huge weakness.
And everything then relies on Kagiso Rabada.
Yes, and he's not been in form, although he's showing a bit of form for Punjab Kings. So the pace bowling lineup, how could you trust Andrich Nortje when another Delhi Capitals guy should really be feel undone by it? Lizard. What wrong did Lizard Williams do?
He's not even on the travelling reserves list. Look at that. The travelling reserves includes an Andre Berger who's been impressive. A Lungi Sani Ngidi again with the Delhi Capitals, but hasn't had a role to play this time around. But Lungi Sani Ngidi, we know, can be a touch expensive. There is no Lizard Williams who's been impressive here and there. But well, hard luck to him, and this is what it looks like. While there are a lot of good batters as well. In fact, let's just take you through the batting, what the batting lineup for them could look like. Let's talk about the main batters. You got an you got an Adrian Markram over there. You got a Riza Hendricks who has a lot of threat as well. There is the dangerous Heinrich Klaassen. There is the killer Miller as well, who will be batting in the middle order. There is a Tristan Stubbs as well. So those are going to be, and of course the last potential ICC tournament for Quinton de Kock. Remember, he for his SA20 franchise as well wasn't doing good up the order, which is why he was shown the door to bat at 3-4 at times as well. So perhaps last ditch for him to really make a, let's say, make an impression and go on a high. But Quinton de Kock, does he start every game? That is a big question.
Yeah. So it was some of the South Africa strength and weakness. The weakness is in the bowling department.
Yeah.
Let's make no mistake about it. Apart from Rabada, the rest are a hit and miss mostly. Your batting is the ultimate strength. Klaassen, all class there. Markram has not had a good time in the...
This again looks to be a side that we saw in the T20 in the ODI World Cup, Siddharth, last year, which would love things with the bat, which would love batting first. In fact, chasing would be their Achilles heel. This again gives me a similar vibe, this SSI this time.
So the threat and the weakness is the bowling. The opportunities and the strengths are the batting, if you look at it. The strengths and the opportunities. But final point before we sum it up, do you see South Africa be in the top 4?
I think the batting's good enough for them to at least make that fourth spot, get to that fourth spot, and anything can happen in T20. They've got some big hitters over there.
Yep.
If they get on song, then I think they can make it to the top.
For me, it's a straight no. Looking at South Africa's tendency to choke, I have not put South Africa as one of the top 4. So that is the current situation. We hope South Africa can win something in the 21st century. That's the only hope from them, but an ICC World Cup.
But then have them in your top 4, na, if you hope so.
We hope so, but practically, if I have to look at it, they are not having a chance. So that was South Africa. You can write to us in the comments below as to who do you think will be the ace factor. Will South Africa make it to the semi-final? From me and Harshit, it's bye-bye. We'll be back with more analysis.